Hey guys, welcome back to Building Materials 2. This is week 3 and I have noticed that there are 7 students who haven't started visiting the Moodle site. If you saw this video, please start preparing for your assignment and workbook activities. This is week 3 and the assessment item 1 is due on week 5, so it's time to hurry up. As usual, a little reminder that in week 3, for students who haven't started preparing for their assignment and workbook activities, please do so before it is too late. Rushing to assignments and workbook activities will not give you a good score. I would like to say it one more time that unless it is private and personal, would you all post your questions on the general forum? We would like other students to participate and learn from the problems. This week we are going to talk about chemical-based products such as plastics and paints. Since some of the materials such as paint we're going to talk about later, such as in week 5 we're going to talk about paints and painting, and there are not so much to discuss in this week's topic. There are introduction and descriptions of several types of the chemical-based products and the advantages and disadvantages of the chemical-based products. Chemical-based products are produced using few fundamental materials such as coal, salt, limestone, petrol to combine and recombine them in ways that are new and useful. The first type of chemical-based products we're going to talk about today is asphalt and bitumen. Asphalt is a semi-solid, sticky, black-brown residue formed by the partial evaporation of certain petrols. Sometimes the term asphalt and bitumen are interchangeable. The primary use of asphalt and bitumen is in road construction, and I believe we have all seen the use of asphalt and bitumen in road renovation. It can be used for other purposes such as bituminous roofs. The major advantage of bituminous roofs is waterproofing, and they can readily be joined or patched if cracks occur. The major disadvantage in roofing situation is that ultraviolet rays affect asphalt and bituminous products, making them hard and brittle after years of exposure and eventually leading to breakdown of the roof. Another type of chemical-based products we're going to talk about today is resins. The use of resins depends on its nature. For example, vinyl resins can be developed into adhesives. It can also be developed as fire-resistant material and serve as insulation. And it depends on the nature of the resins, and then we can then define how it can be used in the construction industry. Please have a look at the textbook, and there are different types of resins and how it can be used in the construction industry. Paints and varnishes. Paints and varnishes are used to apply surface coating to buildings, and I believe when we do a housing renovation, when we build a house, we have to use paints. There are many types of paints such as pigments, bituminous water paints, and anti-corrosion paints. There are some other kinds, and you may want to have a look at the textbook to find out the types of paints and varnishes. Since we're going to talk about paints more detailedly in week 5, and we're not going into any details here. For external painting materials, since it is exposed to sun, moisture, and regularly cleaning, the reasonable life can be 3 to 5 years. For internal paintings, it can be 20 or 20 more years. Plastics. Some of the plastics in the construction industry are used as such as window frames, and some of them are provided as insulation. The advantages of plastics is that water has little effect on plastics. It means it is waterproofing, and the density of plastics is generally low compared to that of metals, which means that the strength to weight ratio is usually high due to the small weight of plastics, and the conductivity of plastics is generally low for both electrical and thermal effects. Therefore, it can be used as insulation to keep the house warm during winter, and the corrosion is variable, but many plastics are resistant to weak acids. There are two types of plastics, the thermal plastics and thermosets. The difference between these two is that thermoplastics, it can be softened repeatedly with heat and will reharden on cooling, such as PVC, and the thermosets, it cannot be softened with heat once they are cured. I am only offering you here how you can combine the textbook, the reading materials together. So if you want to have details of the such as resins and paints and varnishes, please go to the textbook to find the detailed information. The checklist of this topic is that you should know the definition of chemical-based products, and you should know the categories of chemical-based products such as paints and plastics, resins, etc., etc. And you should also know the advantage and disadvantages of different chemical-based products. That's a checklist of this week's topic. The workbook activity is synthetic decking. Synthetic decking has been available as an alternative option to timber decking, and in this week's workbook activity, you should compare the synthetic decking with timber decking in general. And you should also compare the durability of this alternative. That's the workbook activity of this week. It's week 3 and the assignment 1A is due on week 5. I thought I should give you a little briefs here. You will need to choose 2 different materials relevant to this course. One of them must be relevant to topic 3, chemical-based products, or topic 4, building membranes. You can use both. You can use chemical-based products as your material 1 and building membranes as your material 2. You can also use other materials such as concrete. We haven't talked about concrete yet, but you can use concrete in this case study. You will then have to present an example of a success and a failure for each material type, which means you will have 4 elements in your assignment 1A: success and failure for material 1 and success and failure for material 2. However, I would like to highlight here, the failure must involve the chosen material itself in the ramifications of the failure, which means that the material itself must cause a failure, not because other reasons. For example, when the old curtain walling failed and the glass fell to the ground and it broke, when you choose glass as your material type, you cannot use this as your failure case study because it is caused by the wall failed and it is not caused by the glass itself. Your examples must be real examples, and please do not use too many photos. The photos in this case study is just for illustration. You can present your examples in different ways. For example, you can use your material as a heading, such as a concrete, and you can use a success and a failure as subheadings, and also building membranes, for example, and a success and a failure. You can also use success as a heading and provide your material such as concrete and a building membrane as a subheading, and it also failure and concrete and building membranes. You can use either type of structure as long as you have introduction and conclusions and proper references in your assignment. So this is the end of topic 3, chemical-based products. If you have any questions, simply post it to the forum and I will get back to you within 24 hours maximum. And if you haven't started preparing for your assignment and workbook, please start it because it is week 3 already and the due dates for assessment item 1 is week 5. So guys, if you haven't started preparing, please hurry up.